Gizet, art collector, philanthropist, animal. I want to see him behind bars. He's using an innocent girl in a tax fraud.
You have anything in the way of proof?
It's in all the papers about 3 years ago. Johnny Gizet bought a painting, an Henri Dorias, for $600,000. Within 3 weeks, Gizet claimed that the picture was a fake, a forgery.
Yes.
Recently, he sold the painting to the girl I mentioned for a few $100s, purely to take the tax loss.
If it is a forgery, you may be entitled to it.
But it's not. Don't you see? Over the years, the painting will change hands again and again, but always in Johnny Gizet's control. Eventually, the painting will surface in some respectable collection. Experts will be called in, and suddenly the Dorias will be worth $600,000 again.
How do you know about all this?
The girl I mentioned is my daughter. She's hurt, disillusioned, and she's terrified.
Sorry, Dr. Julian. There's a man in the waiting room, insists he has an appointment. He's being rather unpleasant.
Who is he?
Mr. John Gizet.
Tell him I'll see him in a minute. No, there's another exit down this hall. Well, Johnny, I just had a cancellation. Come right in.
All right, children. Let's come here, please. Everybody? Now that you've had a chance to look at all the pictures in this room, who can tell me what country these paintings come from? Very good. We all remembered. They were all painted outdoors in the sunlight, right? That's why they all have happy colors. Because these Impressionists, do we remember that word? The Impressionists knew that without light, there couldn't be any color.
Miss? Excuse me. Would it be all right if I told the children a story about these paintings? My name is John Gizet.
Oh, Mr. Gizet. Children, this is the gentleman who allows us to enjoy all these beautiful things.
Well, your teacher's right, kids. This is called the Impressionist Room. But I've got a different name for it. A secret name. I call it the Salt Mine. It's funny, eh? Now, let me tell you why. A long time ago, during the war, a Nazi, as a bad man, named of Hermann Goering, he stole all these paintings from the French people. He stole them. Well, the French people weren't going to stand for that. So the underground fighters, my daddy was one of them, they stole the paintings back. Now, where do you think they hid them until the war was over? In a salt mine. Excuse the interruption, miss.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Gizet.
Kids always seem to like the Impressionists the best.
Oh, Mr. Gizet, I seem to remember reading somewhere. Isn't there a Doré still in your collection here?
Well, you must have also read that it was a forgery. I don't collect those. We serve tea in the Italian room at 4, gentlemen.
Well, thank you. Well, how do you figure it?
Loft-beat casting. Let's see what the strike force says on it.
That's the only mugshot we were ever able to get of Johnny Gizet. But here are a couple of candidates that might interest you.
Who's the girl?
Unidentified. He's got a different one for every day in the week.
Car or girl?
Both.
Is he a target for the strike force?
Every agency in the strike force has been looking at Johnny Gizet for possible violations. Oh, he's a target, all right. But he's going to be hard to make.
Look, if you've got something going, don't let us get in your way.
Well, what have you got?
The indications are 3 years ago he took a tax loss. It might or might not constitute willful evasion.
We just might be gaining on him. A painting? In the normal processing of Johnny's return, that loss was picked up. Service Center referred it to audit. Audit challenged Johnny, who had documented proof of the loss, and that's where the matter stands.
Until he takes his next step.
Well, it seems as though your Dr. Julian may have made that for him. Look, we'll give you any help we can, but I would like to be kept filled in.
Sure.
Johnny does have some legit interests. Local brewery, trucking outfit. Took him over when his father retired.
His father?
Old Papa Gizet. Oh, we've got records on him from a way back. Horse parlors, wire service, old-fashioned conservative stuff. All small time, and all before World War II.
Well, that's a long time ago.
Well, he went back to France during the war and fought with the underground. Won himself some kind of a medal.
And when he came back here, he took over again.
Absolutely not. No, the war did something to him. Turned legit. He had a big success in business, became a pillar of the community, wanted Johnny to go junior chamber, sent him to the best schools. Kid did all right for a while. He was an art major, crazy about art. Then he pulled a knife in some kind of fraternity house ruckus. Papa got that hushed up. But Johnny got mixed up in a rape, and that 86'd him.
Is Papa still the boss?
No, he's retired. Bought himself a home on the beach somewhere in Malibu.
But Johnny can't play it straight.
Well, every indication is that he's gone in for, loan sharking, narcotics.
Any convictions?
No. There was one arrest for felonious assault. He cut off a guy's ear.
He what?
A strong Van Gogh influence.
Loan sharking situation, from what intelligence tells us. Victim wouldn't testify, so the case was dismissed.
Well, that's par for the course.
Look, if you guys have even a prayer of getting Johnny Kisei on tax evasion, you go right ahead.
We'll give you a strike force of play-by-play.
What is it?
Miss Gilda Julian? We're United States Treasury agents. We'd like to talk to you if it's convenient.
Treasury?
We'd like to talk to you as a witness in a possible tax evasion matter.
No. Please, go away.
Now, we can issue a summons, which will require you to appear, but we'd rather not.
I don't have many visitors. Sit down if you like.
Special Agent James O'Hara, this is Special Agent Bill Clark. We're from IRS Intelligence.
How do you do? My father did my income tax for me, so if there's anything...
Miss Julian, you misunderstand. We're not here concerning your income tax returns.
Now, we're here investigating the tax liability of a man named Johnny Gizet. And that painting, is it a Doré?
Odalisque 9, it's called. I guess Doré just kept painting odalisques. That means a harem girl.
Is it an original?
I don't know.
Well, if it is, it's worth a great deal of money. Was it a gift?
No, I paid $500 for that painting.
To Johnny Gizet?
Why do you ask me questions if you already know everything? Yes, Johnny wanted me to have that painting. He thinks it's beautiful. And he knows about beautiful things. It's one of the things about Johnny that That was a long time ago.
And does he think it's valuable?
More than $500 valuable? He said the time would come when it would be worth a lot of money.
When that time comes, is the money to be yours?
That'll be up to Johnny.
Like always?
Yes, like always. You're the one who went to see my father, aren't you?
At his request.
Johnny will find out you were here. He always does.
Well, if he mentions it, just say that two men dropped by to see the painting. Nothing more. We'd appreciate it if you did. Well, thank you. We'll be in touch.
I won't have to appear against Johnny, will I? Oh, please promise me.
Well, I'm afraid we can't promise anything.
Sure would be the hard way to go.
Banco, fortune.
This man's a pickpocket. He tried to take my wallet.
Hey, Norbert, how you doing?
Just terrific, man.
Nice. Hey, you know you're getting pretty good at this thing?
Yeah, well, I made it myself.
Yeah, beautiful. Keep practicing, you'll have your own group. Won't have to dip anymore.
Hey, Williams, do me a favor. Lay this on my lawyer when you see him, huh?
Yeah, I'll do that. Now you take care, okay?
Gently, gently.
Will you prefer charges, sir?
Treasury agents, IRS intelligence. Special Agent James O'Hara, this is Special Agent Bill Clark. I'd appreciate it if you didn't burn us.
No, no problem.
Does he really have a lawyer?
One of our best class dips. But we bust him all right. Big shot lawyer shows up, gets him out, every time.
Did you just happen to be here?
No, been watching him all day. You see, my lieutenant's curious. Norbert's always staked out at this apartment. Reason unknown.
Reason unknown.
The girl says Johnny Gizet finds out everything.
The dip's lawyer's on Johnny's payroll.
Which means that they know already that we visited Gilda Julian's apartment. I think the girl's in over her head and doesn't know how to get out.
She doesn't even know what she's mixed up in.
Do you?
Well, we think it goes down like this. Johnny gets an art expert to declare the Doré to be a fake. And he sells the painting to the girl for peanuts and ends up with a net capital loss on the year. Since he had an unusual amount of capital gains that same year, they're completely wiped out by the loss. He sits out the statute of limitations, feeling confident that we don't have a criminal case, and he buys the painting back from the girl for the same pittance. Suddenly, surprise, the Odalisque 9 is discovered by a reputable authority to be an authentic Doré, and Johnny is home free as the new owner, or so he thinks.
And he cheats the U.S. Treasury out of $200,000.
Is that all you got?
Well, it's a pretty solid direction.
A direction is not a case. You're still inside your own 50-yard line. Now, we've got to prove that painting is authentic. Prove Johnny Gizet knows it is. Prove willful intent to evade.
Imagine you're some sort of a runner looking for a bargain, O'Hara. Who's your collector? Who's behind you? Fellow was with you here the other day? Fellow you went to Gilda's apartment with?
I admit Mr. Clark is interested in the painting.
All of a sudden, everybody's interested in Gilda's poor fake Doré. What is this?
How did you decide it was fake?
I didn't decide. But when Klaus Vogel, he's the curator of the Frank collection now, decides he won't hang it in his Doré in retrospect, that's enough for me.
The opinion of one expert.
I consider Klaus Vogel the preeminent man in the Impressionist field. I'm responsible for a priceless collection of paintings. I've got to cull the suspected one. Just like a cattleman culls a valuable herd. Ruthlessly.
That could get expensive.
Everybody in this business gets stung once in a while. When you do, you take your loss and you shut up. So tell your buyer it's no deal. The Doré is spurious. Gilda bought it, she likes it. So please don't bother her again. It's no deal, you understand?
My dear chaps, anyone in the art world will tell you that Val Valentine is the most respected dealer in the country. And I say the Odalisque 9 is authentic Doré. Thank you, my dear. But I wouldn't sell Johnny Gizet another picture if he were the Louvre itself.
And Johnny Gizet actually paid $600,000 for that painting?
He did, and lucky at that. Meade of Houston wanted that Doré, and so did Vincent Grace of Bel Air. But Gizet was mad for it. So we made the deal, and I gave him full provenance.
A provenance?
Say, you are new boys, aren't you? Provenance. That's the history of a picture and its ownership. Ah, now take this Redon. Here we are. Received from A. William. 1,100 francs, signed Odilon Redon. That's the very first sale. And then this stamp, New York Armory Exhibition of 1913. Then this signature of some buyer who wanted to be sure he was delivered the same canvas he bought. Providence.
Makes it hard to denigrate a painting, huh?
Exactly. But denigrate he did. Dr. Klaus Stuffed Shirt Vogel. Not only the Doré, but my reputation too. I even offered to buy it back for the full 600,000, but he refused.
Johnny Gizet refused $600,000?
Quite common with these wealthy Philistines. Let any so-called expert cast the slightest doubt, and they'll take the loss rather than be embarrassed. False pride.
Dr. Vogel is a so-called expert?
Klaus may be in some ways competent, but he has been wrong. Has he been wrong? Ask him about the Bralius he bought when he was at the City Museum. Ask him about that.
Klaus Vogel is not the most perceptive.
He bought a Renoir for the City Museum. Turned out to be a Bralius forgery. Scandal.
Think he's overreacting because he's been fooled once?
Klaus is not the only one. Before I became his advisor, Johnny Gizeh was duped by Bralius too, but not since, gentlemen.
Lucky for you fellas I came along when I did.
Good timing.
Like you rehearsed it.
I got a call from my lawyer.
You get your flute player out of jail?
Believe it. You know, at first I thought you guys might be art collectors. I even thought you might be Internal Revenue.
What changed your mind?
Art collectors don't carry guns. Neither do tax collectors.
It makes you think we do.
Anybody who can finger your wallet can also tell you are healed. You're a couple of cheap hoods. You got some kind of cute ideas about that phony Doré. Forget it. I might not be around the next time.
Well, the chief is gonna say, prove willful intent to evade.
And he'll say, prove the painting is authentic.
I didn't say the painting was not authentic. I merely said I wouldn't give 50 cents for it. You must remember Val Valentine is a merchant, not the high priest of art he aspires to be.
Dr. Vogel, then who in the art world would be considered an expert on Doré?
There are several. In all modesty, I would be among them.
Well, it interests us that one man's opinion could cost a collector $500,000.
Is that remark invidious?
No, sir. We're not criticizing. We're just trying to learn the ropes.
That Odalisque 9, and we can't even be sure that Doré did 9, simply didn't feel right to me.
Did you make any scientific tests?
You mean X-rays, photoluminescent dating, all that sort of thing? Not necessary. My aesthetic judgment was sufficient. Or see my own work on Henri Doré, among others. And note the incurvature of the noses. That heralds the beginning of the Moroccan period.
Incurvature of the noses?
Bralius, for I believe he was a forger, completely missed that characteristic rhythm.
I'll be done.
Exactly. Now sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. You know, of course, this isn't the first time Johnny Gizeh had been fooled by Anton J. Bralius.
Yes, we heard something about that.
Yes, at the time you were at the City Museum before you came to the Frank collection. Didn't you have some contact with Bralius's work?
Even I can be fooled. Once. The man is a great forger.
How about twice?
No.
Why are you so sure?
I'll tell you why. Bralius had been living in some arty colony down along the coast, eking out a living, teaching painting, I believe. Shortly before our retrospect, he came here to the Frank, trying to peddle his own worthless stuff. When I sent him packing, he practically shrieked. He was already hanging in most of the great collections in the country. And
through his forgeries?
Yes, of course. And now, during the retrospect, he would hang in the Frank as well.
Why did that necessarily mean the Odalisque 9?
Because he himself blurted out that very name.
Well, have we proved anything so far?
Just that experts disagree.
Are there any experts in this field?
Marked incurvature of the noses, characteristic rhythm. Dr. Klaus Vogel sure sounds like an expert.
So does Val Valentine.
So does Johnny Gizeh.
Jim, here's your stuff from Interpol. Paris through Washington.
Bralius, Count Anton J., Hungarian, convicted art forger. Amsterdam, served 6 months. Copenhagen, 3 months. Emigrated to America. Last address, Zuma Beach, California.
What is it you want? Count Bralius? I understand you give painting lessons.
Well, I'm sorry, gentlemen. I thought perhaps you were tradesmen. At what stage are you? Do you know anything about painting?
I know enough to know this looks famous.
It's a Mondrian. Yes. And I choose to paint in the manner of Mondrian. That's excellent. If some idiot collector chooses to consider that a true Mondrian, that's his concern. You are not a collector.
I'm thinking of starting with a Doré, the Odalisque 9.
I know of no such painting by Doré.
Cambrelius, I saw the Odalisque 9 a few days ago.
Where?
In the apartment of the girl John Gouzet sold it to.
Sold it?
For $500.
$500? Well, I begin to understand, gentlemen. We both could be rich.
How?
Well, I assume you have the cash to give the woman a small profit, and I have the knowledge to give us an enormous one.
Slower.
Don't you see? I, Brelius, am the only one capable of painting such a forgery. But I did not do that. No, that is an authentic Doré. Un vrai Doré worth a fortune. But there's Johnny Gouzet. No doubt he has some scheme. Still, it would almost be worth losing the other ear.
Maybe you can even keep it.
You don't know him. He's a beast.
If John Gouzet were in jail? Cambrelius, we're United States Treasury agents. IRS intelligence. I'm Special Agent James O'Hare, the Special Agent Bill Clark.
A trick.
It's not a trick. We believe the way you do. Johnny Gouzet has a scheme.
It's a tax evasion.
We need your help.
To put him into jail.
If he's guilty.
Does the woman know the value of the painting?
Probably not.
Perhaps I will help you put him into jail. Some years ago, I allowed John Gouzet to acquire through me a Renoir, a superb thing. Later, however, he learned that it was painted in the manner of Renoir.
Do you know Dr. Klaus Vogel?
No, idiot.
He speaks very highly of you.
Only as a forger. No, part of my bargain was to make Vogel believe that the Odalisque 9 was actually a Brelius Doré. So I shouted that I was already hanging in the living rooms from Holmby Hills to Miami. I was in boardrooms from Amsterdam to Tokyo, and now I would hang in the Frank collection itself. He rose like a fish to the bait. Henri must have been chuckling in his grave.
Then you can state as a fact the painting is authentic.
Oh, the certainty. I even know the model who posed, La Belle Geneviève. Yes, as a matter of fact, she was in the studio recently. She wanted a favor, which I, alas, could not grant.
We are speaking of Doré's model for the Odalisque 9.
Geneviève, of course. You know, this coast is a magnet for art expatriates. Right? She domiciles not 20 miles up that beach.
Sit, mes enfants, on the bed, on the floor, as you choose. L'Odalisque 9. It has appeared again?
We understand you posed for it.
Ah, you have seen Anton Brelius? Ah, a dear friend. I saw him recently. You see this little Dufy on the wall? I don't want to lose it. I had hoped perhaps Anton would hold it for me for a little money. But alas, he has none.
Did you really model for Doré?
I did. I modeled for them all. Renoir, Matisse, Dufy. I was very beautiful, even as a child. Henri Doré. I met him first in Nice, then again in Morocco.
Madame, the Odalisque 9?
Ah, I not only modeled for it, I owned it.
Can you tell us what happened to it?
Years later, I brought it to this country. Eventually, I sold it.
To whom?
Val Valentine.
Maybe you can identify it for us as the original.
That I can certainly do. Can you take me to it?
Yes?
May we come in, Miss Julian?
No, please.
This is Madame Geneviève. She'd like to take a look at your painting.
No.
Gilda, you help us, we'll help you. Nobody's trying to hurt you.
Nobody?
Where is it?
I went to a movie alone. When I came back an hour ago, it was gone. But Johnny was waiting for me. He did this with his knife.
Why?
He said I might learn something from what happened to the donkey. I guess I can sew it back on.
You notified the police the painting's been stolen?
No.
But it's legally yours. You paid $500 for it.
That painting's been nothing but trouble. I don't even like it. Let him keep it.
Johnny Gizet?
Whoever. I never want to see that miserable Dorias again.
Miserable. This is too much. For a man to abuse the women he loves, that is not so much.
Johnny never loved me.
But to care nothing for a great picture by a great man, a great artist, that is execrable. Forgive an old woman, ma pauvre.
Dorias was a good friend of Madame Geneviève's.
She posed for the Odalisque 9.
Then of all of us, you should have it, madame. I give it to you. With all my heart, I give it to you.
All right, keep your hands in the open. I thought I got through to you punks. Now I'm gonna have to make it plainer. Up against the window. Come on, everybody.
You seek to frighten me, perhaps? Whew.
Who are you?
La belle Geneviève.
All right, Mama, you just stay right there.
I don't know who's going to get in on this act next. Dr. Julian, Klaus Vogel, Anton Brailis. Even my old little Gilda's been singing for you.
Norman. Get the guns.
And before you do that, maybe he'd like to search me.
Go ahead.
James O'Hara, Special Agent, IRS, United States Treasury. Johnny?
Here I am, Mr. Gizet. Art collectors do not carry guns. Tax collectors do not carry guns. Special agents of the IRS intelligence do.
Well, I thought we'd had everybody after us. Narcos, bunkos, cops, hoods. But Treasury, Intelligence Division yet. You know, I wonder why I keep on winning.
You won't if your muscle continues to threaten with those weapons.
Do you know the penalty for threatening a federal officer? Put it away. Go wait in the car. I'm sorry. If there's one thing that I've tried to tell them, it's never mess with a federal officer.
Tell them bedtime stories about tax evasion?
Yeah, I said it was hard to prove. Is there anything I can do for you, gentlemen?
You could tell us where the Odalisque 9 is.
I'm afraid I can't help you with that. But if there's any other questions you have, gentlemen, I'll be happy to come down to your office and have a little chat. I'll be seeing you, honey.
You have authority. You let such animals run free.
Just for the moment. Gilda?
Just leave me alone, please.
Well, I'm afraid it isn't that easy.
What do you mean?
You're a government witness.
No, I don't want to do anything.
And you bought that painting from Johnny Gizet for $500. And you said you could not tell whether it was authentic or not.
I told you the truth.
We believe you, but when you gave us that information, it was the same as testimony.
That's right, we put what we call a weight on the information until we can look into it further.
Bah, we know it is authentic.
When you left your apartment, you said the painting was here. When you came back, the painting was not here. Now, did you give permission to anyone at all, to come into your apartment while you were gone?
No, no one.
Would you sign a statement to that effect?
Isn't there any other way?
It's absolutely essential if we're going to recover the painting.
I just don't understand.
We need your signed statement in order to obtain the search warrant.
I see.
We can offer you one thing. Protection.
All right.
If the statement is accurate, Miss Julian, sign both copies, please.
Got anything on that APB we requested last night? How about the highway patrol? Yeah, okay, we'll be here.
That be all?
Thank you, Mr. Rockwell. Gilda.
Dr. Julian.
I told you she was frightened. What have you done to her?
I'm perfectly all right, Daddy.
And it's worked out exactly like you wanted it to. I won't be seeing Johnny anymore.
I tried to warn you.
It doesn't matter.
Baby.
All right. I wouldn't listen. I was wrong. But don't smother me. Just let me make my own mistakes, okay?
What kind of a father would I be if I let you do that? You are not like... Well, you...
Why don't you go ahead and say it? I'm not like other girls.
I didn't mean that.
I'm a cripple. Anyone can see it, but stop sheltering me. Stop thinking I'm a child.
I'm sorry about this, gentlemen.
Oh, Lord, please don't apologize for me.
You said you were going to arrest him. Well, where is he?
We don't know.
You mean that he's running around loose?
We'll provide protection for both you and your daughter, Doctor, just as long as it's needed.
You'll be escorted home.
Yeah, I suppose I should thank you for reintroducing me to my own daughter.
We all owe her a vote of appreciation.
I owe her a great deal more than that. Her leg. I'm to blame for that. We were playing it. She was only 10. They grow up when you're not looking, don't they?
You know, we could have arrested Johnny Gazet at the girl's apartment for harassing a government witness.
But that wouldn't have turned up one missing painting. Wonder where he might stash it.
Well, he wouldn't put it in the gallery. That's too obvious.
He certainly couldn't walk into a bank vault with it.
They're going to drive around with it in his back seat.
Somebody's attic, maybe? Yes. Malibu on 5.
Malibu? Papa Gazet lives in Malibu.
Yeah, this is James O'Hara.
How you doing, O'Hara? This is Grover Potter up in Malibu, deputy sheriff. They call me Potts.
How you doing, Potts? What do you got for us?
On your request for an APB, subject vehicle is parked on the beach up here.
Whose beach?
Old Papa Gazet's beach. APB said you want a location only.
Yeah, we'll be there in 1 hour. Can you meet us?
Sure thing. Sheriff's substation.
Where's the last place in the world you'd expect to find an Henri Doré?
On the beach at Malibu?
Genevieve said she could identify the painting if she'd like a little ride down the coast.
Beats me, you federal guys always 5 minutes early. What's the rush?
Overachievers. This is my partner, Bill Clark, special agent.
I'm Potts. Who's the lady?
He's going to help us recover a stolen painting.
If you find it, how do you figure to get to it?
I thought we'd play it by ear.
What's the climate on search warrants?
Cold. Leslie is very large on the United States Constitution.
Leslie?
Leslie Dugan, federal magistrate, lives right here in Malibu. No, unless you can see subject stolen property, your painting, unless you can see it from the fence, Leslie give you a 10-minute lecture on unlawful search and seizure.
What about Papa Gazet?
Nice enough fella. Everybody up here gets along fine with him.
Does he live alone?
Yep.
No servants?
Well, Inga does day work for him a couple days a week. Inga Branson.
What is all this talk? Inga Branson, take me to this place. I will recover my Doré.
Afraid it doesn't work that way, madame. Now, Potts, can we go see this Inga?
Potts Potter, if anybody does something wicked in this town, you're supposed to take care of it.
Now, Inga, I'm only trying to help these fellas out.
Well, don't see any call to bring in outsiders. I hope you take my meaning.
Mrs. Branston, we have no knowledge that anyone has done anything wicked in this town.
Then why are you asking about old Papa Gazet?
We're not asking about him, we're asking about his house.
But I only go there twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays.
Did you work here on Monday?
Yes.
And on Thursday?
I told you, Mondays and Thursdays.
Was there anything in the house on Thursday that wasn't there on Monday?
Yes.
And what was it?
His son, Johnny.
What Mr. O'Hara means, Inger, is any new thing in the house.
A picture. Johnny brought it.
Did you see him bring it?
No, but who else? Certainly not Papa Gizet.
Could you describe it?
I'd prefer not.
Oh, for heaven's sake, why not, Inger?
Potts Potter, I do not describe naked ladies.
You fellas didn't tell me about that.
Well, she's not exactly naked, Potts.
Oh? What would you call it, young man?
Well, she's nude.
Naked, nude, jaybird. Call it what you like.
What position were her arms in?
They don't hide a thing. They're straight up over her head. She's got her back turned, but you can tell she's bare all right.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Branston. Let's go see your magistrate.
Mr. O'Hara, is it? Imagine having a real Doré right here in this little town. Imagine a thing like that, Potts.
Imagine.
I'd almost like to give you fellas a warrant, just so I could see the Doré myself.
Does that mean you're not going to give us the warrant?
Well, I don't know. You know, my grandmother used to tell me about the saloon in her hometown. Men only. Olap Jones ran it. Well, one night it burned down. You want to know the first and only thing Olap rescued from that burning building? The picture behind the bar. And all the time the wives thought the men went there just because they liked beer.
Man does not live by beer alone.
My point is, the world is full of paintings of naked ladies. Now, how can we be sure this is the one you're looking for?
I thought we showed probable cause.
Okay, Mr. O'Hara, I'll take your word for that. You've seen the picture, I haven't. You want this painting for stolen property?
No, ma'am, as evidence in an income tax investigation.
You sure your federal officers aren't going to go arresting somebody?
Well, right now, we're merely interested in recovering the painting.
You want to search Papa Gizet's residence. And all buildings appurtenant thereto. Now, you really don't have to go scrounging through all the outbuildings on the old man's place, do you?
We can do without that part.
No harm in making the pitch, huh?
Win a few, lose a few.
Well, the signed statement from your government witness, Gilda Julian, helped you win this one. There you go. But no midnight door knocking. I've made that search valid, daylight only. Good luck with the search, gentlemen.
Thanks, Leslie.
You're trespassing.
You're the owner of this property?
No, I'm not. This is my father's place.
Well, these are federal officers. They want to talk to Papa Gizet.
I know perfectly well they're federal officers. I told them I'd come down to their office and talk anytime. Now, my father has nothing to do with this.
We believe there's stolen property in your father's house. We have a warrant to search.
You're trespassing.
No! Put away the guns. I am the chief here. I, Gizet Père. Federal officers. Stolen property. I'm confused.
These fellows think there's some stolen property in your house, Papa Gizet. I'm just here to introduce them. They're Treasury agents, O'Hara and Clark.
A painting by Henri Doré, the Odalisque 9.
Stolen? My son has many paintings. Why would he steal one?
We believe it's part of a tax fraud.
Of this I know nothing. Now, please leave my property.
You don't understand, Mr. Gizet. By this warrant in my hand, the court commands me to try and find...
You call yourself chief? You call yourself père? You cannot even control your own son. Ton fils ici, il est un criminel. Il est un bête. Il a découpé l'oreille de mon ami, Brelius. L'a découpé. Il frappe des femmes. Il a volé de Gilda, une pauvre jeune fille, estropiée. Et maintenant, il vole l'Odalis 9 de moi, Geneviève. Vrai modèle d'Henri Doré lui-même.
Le vrai modèle de Henri Doré? Pouvez-vous décrire Doré?
Mais certainement.
Madame, the painting hangs in my parlor. Johnny! I send you to a fine college. You take knives. You molest girls. You cut off people's ears. You get mixed up with federal agents. You leave my fine business for crime, for loan sharking, and for drugs. You even strike that poor crippled girl. Now you steal art from Madame Geneviève, the model and friend of Doré himself.
Comment ça me servait autant que j'étais belle?
Madame, you said that you could identify the painting.
But of course. I will show you. I can prove it. You see, this tiny mole? I was very beautiful and very vain. I hated it. But Doré painted it in my picture. Then when he presented me the canvas, he gave me his brush, smiling, and I painted out the mole. See? You see this little dab of white? Any X-ray will show that under it is painted a mole. That is the only forgery in this, Henri Doré.
So arrest me. Not right now. You can say that again. I've got experts. So we? You see, Papa, you shouldn't get so mad. These agents can't do a thing to me.
Well, not today. Sheriff can't.
Well, let him try.
What? That painting has been reported stolen to the Los Angeles Police Department. The burglary squad is looking for it right now.
You guys are under arrest. Suspicion 459, burglary. Bill, you give me a hand?
Give me your hardware, man.
My lawyer will have us out of your Hicktown Slammer in half an hour.
Close attention, gentlemen, because I'm going to inform you of your constitutional rights.
You can put the gun away now, Mr. Guizet.
I must apologize for my son. Well, what will happen now?
Well, by the time the district attorney gets through with him on theft, we should be ready with our federal indictment on willful tax evasion.
These young people, they never seem to listen. Madame, I'm very sorry.
Madame, when the case is closed and the court has awarded you the painting, you'll be a very wealthy woman. What will you do?
I shall have to sell it. But I will give half to Gilda. Then perhaps I can lend some money to Anton Brelius.
Brelius?
Remember at the time of Doré, I said I was otherwise occupied?
Anton! What a pleasant surprise! Oh, Geneviève, ma chérie, would you be good enough to put these few poor items on my account? I'm sure in a few days I'll be able to pay.
Oh, Anton, take whatever you like. I have such wonderful news.
Yes, I see it in your face.
L'Odalis 9. They are going to give it to me.
Not for such a long time have I seen such fire, such expression. Here, young man, take care of this for me. You stand there. I'm going to make a little sketch. No, stand right there. Just like the old times. No, wait. A little higher and with the chin, so that's right.
Oh, Anton, careful, Anton. The last time you have corrected my pose, remember what happened, eh?
Tonight on Biography, the private and political worlds of David Ben-Gurion and Mahatma Gandhi. And later today on The Avengers, a man eating plant sprouts terror.
Jim O'Hara. Inspector Jim O'Hara. United States Treasury, IRS inspection.
That's quite a mouthful. What if I told you I'd changed my mind? Would you go away?
When you called our office, you made an allegation that the United States Treasury considers one of the most serious it receives. Namely, that an Internal Revenue agent is guilty of accepting a bribe.
Me and my big mouth. Shall we go to the house? Do you know a man named Win Ethan?
Comedian?
Well, more or less.
Very funny man. What, ex-friend?
Ex-husband. Homeless man alive, bar none.
It looks like he's seen some trouble.
Win? You better believe it. He's going to have a lot more trouble if he doesn't start paying me my alimony. You sure I can't fix you something?
All right.
Listen, I didn't call the Internal Revenue Service because Laughing Boy up there didn't pay me my money. Is that understood?
I'm glad to hear that.
To set the record straight, O'Hara, my ex-husband is a spineless, no-good specimen of manhood. And I love him so much it makes my toenails curl. That's how I feel about the man I'm getting ready to crucify. Any questions?
Yeah, just one. Do you think he's involved in the bribery agreement with the IRS agent?
Up to his stupid neck.
How?
I can't let him do it, O'Hara. I can't knowingly allow Wynn to commit a criminal act. Is that so wrong?
How long have you known him?
10 years. He was just starting in show business. Show business. Where some people stink to high heaven, in case you hadn't heard.
Like who, for instance?
Oh, the crooks who made Wynn a star. Thieves and mobsters who don't really care whether Wynn lives or dies. Just don't get out of line, brother.
You're talking about an organized crime operation.
Exactly. Wynn was just getting started when the mob took him over. We'd been married a week. Some big shot back east caught Wynn's act and thought he was funny. Next day, the hood bought himself a nightclub, handed Wynn a microphone, and the rest is show business history. After a while, they started passing him around. Miami, Los Angeles, Chicago. Select joints. Anywhere the mob had a piece of the action. Sure, they paid him big. But every payday, the muscle was there to get the kickback. Sometimes it ran as high as 50%.
That happened for 10 years.
Hardly a day went by. I didn't beg Wynn to make the break, to walk away. But Wynn is weak. Oh, was weak. Anyway, a year and a half ago, I walked away from him.
You said he was weak.
When I left him, it shook him up so you wouldn't believe it. He finally got up enough courage to tell him no more kickbacks.
Then what happened?
There were no more jobs. That was about 6 months ago. Wynn hasn't worked since.
It's a nice time to be hit with a tax audit.
I found out about it day before yesterday. Wynn drove out to tell me that he was broke and to forget about alimony for a while. I had a hunch that was what he was coming out about, so before he got here, I set up my tape recorder. I know it's sneaky, but a girl has to protect herself, right? Anyway, that's when he told me about his business manager having set up this arrangement to bribe an Internal Revenue agent. Okay. And you're going to owe how much?
I told you, an even 100 grand.
You can't even pay alimony. Where are you going to get 100 grand?
What's going on here? Why am I having to repeat everything?
I just want to get it straight, honey.
Austin Bailey's got it rigged. Instead of 100, all I gotta come up with is 30,000. Bailey hands the loot to an Internal Revenue agent assigned to make the audit, and I'm off the hook.
Bribing a federal employee? You know what kind of trouble that can buy?
No worse than what I've already bought, baby.
That's what you think.
Listen, the word all around the country is hire Win Ethan at your own risk. Now that's what's known as trouble.
Think there's any possibility that Ethan has been able to get the bribe money?
I doubt it. He's flat broke, and the money boys don't want to be seen with him.
Tell me about Austin Bailey.
As far as I know, Bailey's always been on the level. What I can't understand is how he could have underestimated Wynn's taxes by $100,000. It's incredible.
You've got a theory.
Sure. Before very long, a certain black comedian is going to be back beneath the mob umbrella.
I'll be honest, it sounds like a frame. Especially since Ethan doesn't know the name of the agent.
That's the first thing he told me.
What?
The agent's name is Stanley Turner. You still think it's a frame, O'Hara?
I checked with the Hollywood office. If Ethan's being audited, nobody's aware of it except Stanley Turner.
Why did Bailey reveal Turner's name to win Ethan?
Why not? There's no way Ethan can verify the deal, is there? If he confronted Turner in person, all a man would do was deny culpability. Now, why does that bug you?
I don't know yet.
Well, we got a break, so don't fight it. Now we proceed by the book. Turner is innocent until proven guilty. In the meanwhile, we investigate Ethan's report that Turner is on the take.
What do we know about Turner?
He's 30s, unmarried. He's been with us 7 years. Lives in a singles-only apartment house in the valley.
Any prior complaints?
Negative. His supervisor rates his work as consistently superior. Wait a minute. Well, that's interesting. A couple of years ago, Turner came into a small inheritance.
Some guys get all the luck.
Yep. And you're one of them. You're going undercover as a rich oil man from the state of Texas with money to invest. I understand that impresses people around Hollywood. Now, here's Turner's address. Rent an apartment there and start digging. And I'll check on Ethan and Austin Bailey.
Oh, there's the layout. Oh, boy, I needed that. Oh, don't you come near me now, baby. You hear?
Oh, why, love? Is something wrong?
You and your bourbon pickles. I could have died.
Howard.
Tina there is our resident gourmet. Her friend is Eleanor.
Lee the lion.
Well, there are 4 vacancies. Take your pick.
How about that one?
Well, it depends on what kind of neighbors you like. Blondes, brunettes, redheads. That's redhead country.
I'll check it out. The apartment.
Hi, neighbor. Busy? Hi, I'm Tina Grace, and my intentions are strictly honorable. All I want to do is stake a claim. Got any ice? You're gonna like this apartment. 21 is a good number.
Was that your age?
Thanks. But, I'll be nicer than you were, and I won't inquire.
I appreciate it.
What do you do for a living, Jim?
I dig oil wells.
You dig what?
Well, when I was a little boy, I had a choice of punching cows or digging oil wells. I didn't like falling off the saddle.
Well, where do you do all of this?
Oklahoma, Texas, mainly Texas.
I always knew this was a lucky apartment.
I beg your pardon?
No, nothing. You don't talk like a Texan or an Oklahoman, whatever.
Yeah, well, I went to school out here. Don't ask me when.
Well, what are you doing here now?
And I was going to unpack.
No, I mean, what do they have here that they don't have in Dallas or Oklahoma City?
Hollywood.
Oh, and I suppose you're going to buy yourself a little studio, is that it?
Is there one for sale?
Are you serious?
Well, my friends told me that making motion pictures might be fun. I thought I'd check it out.
Are you for real, or am I already drunk?
I'll give you a hand.
I wish you would, because I'm beginning to get a little numb.
What do you do for a living?
Well, up until right now, I was an airline stewardess, but guess what?
You're an actress at heart.
Right. By the way, it is, informal.
What is it?
They get acquainted party for you. It goes with the apartment.
Is that the fellow that had the problem this morning?
When the booze flows, our Lee glows.
Come on, O'Hara, you're next. Show them how it's done in Texas.
Ah, I forgot my boots.
I bet you haven't forgotten a thing.
Hey, Tina tells me you want to buy your way into the movies. Is that on the level?
Blabbermouth.
Why, is that supposed to be a secret?
Well, it was until now.
Well, take it easy on the kid. You're the first millionaire she ever met.
Who said I was a millionaire?
I'll be right with you, baby. Hey, man, you're the guest of honor. Start mingling, huh? People won't like you.
I made a picture once in a garage. They released it, too. Unfortunately, my mother attended the premiere.
Hey, I found a customer. Mr. Jesse Florian came in with me last night on Flight 186 from New York. Jim O'Hara.
Mr. Floyd?
Miss Grace tells me you're the guest of honor here.
Well, Miss Grace tells a lot of things.
It's time to get the food ready. Come on.
Oh, excuse me. Mr. Florian, do you live here?
No, the name's Jesse. I was looking for a friend when I wandered in here by mistake. First thing I saw was coffee, tea, or me. Buy you a drink?
Yeah, sure.
Back off, muscles. I'm taking over. Scotch and water.
Likewise.
Hey, do I know you?
No.
I didn't think so.
Make that 3 Scotch and waters.
Hey, Stan, where you been?
Busy, man, busy. Who's the blast for this time? A new inmate?
You're psychic, man. Meet your neighbor, Jim O'Hara, in 21.
Oh, Stan Turner. Welcome aboard.
Glad to be here.
So, you're in lucky 21, huh? Congratulations.
Everybody keeps saying lucky 21. What's so lucky about 21?
And don't tell him, Stan. We want to keep him.
The guy in 21 got married.
Did you call that lucky?
For the broads, baby, not us. Hey, listen, Stan, O'Hara needs some advice. How does a guy with money get into the motion picture business?
Easy. Practically no trouble at all.
Yeah, no, I'm beginning to get that feeling.
Man, serious, Stan. Make an exception for once and recommend somebody you know, like a good investment counselor.
You never give up, do you? I work for the Internal Revenue Service. The only investment counselors I know are people whose tax returns I may have looked into one time or another. You can understand why I'm not allowed to make a recommendation.
I know just the guy you want to meet.
I don't believe we met. Stan Turner.
Jesse Florian. I'm a party crasher.
You know an investment counselor?
Best in the business. Puts a lot of big picture deals together. Name's Austin Bailey. Ever hear of him?
The office is in Century City.
Well, you know him.
I know him, yeah. But again, it's not a recommendation.
Look him up. Tell him I sent you.
I may do that.
Yes, may I help you?
My name's Jim O'Hara. I have an appointment to see Mr. Bailey.
Of course. Mr. Bailey, Mr. O'Hara is here.
Mr. O'Hara, Austin Bailey.
Oh, pleased to meet you.
My right hand, Inez Malcolm. Shall we go in?
Miss Malcolm, you know this town fairly well.
Yes, pretty well.
Well, I'll leave it to you where we have dinner tonight.
Yeah. I admire your technique with women.
She's a pretty girl.
Would you have a drink?
No, it's a little early for me.
Sit down, Mr. O'Hara. Now then, what can I do for you?
Well, I'm in the oil business. Not in a big way, but substantial.
Well, that's a good beginning.
If and when we hit it off, I'm prepared to supply you with all my business records. Until then, I've got talking money, you know what I mean?
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, I used to go to school out here. Never forgotten how green it was. Compared to that sand and sagebrush I've been sinking drills into ever since. And to make a long story short, Mr. Bailey, I intend to go into business out here. And maybe the motion picture business. I need some advice.
Motion picture business? How much advice are you willing to listen to?
Try me.
Mr. O'Hara, making motion pictures is probably the riskiest business venture in the world. Oh, sure, a hit film will make you millions of dollars in returns, but the industry is full of knowledgeable people. Men who have spent a lifetime behind studio walls and never yet been connected with a hit film. Now, my advice to you, Mr. O'Hara, is to invest your money in California real estate.
Well, that's encouraging.
Oh?
If you'd said anything else, I'd be halfway out the door by now.
I'm a business manager, Mr. O'Hara, and my client's best interests are my best interests. I'm a very selfish man, I don't mind telling you.
How about a client's expressed wishes? How much weight do they carry?
Well, I'll be honest with you. It depends on how foolish they are.
I think we're going to get along fine, Mr. Bailey.
Are you sure you won't have a drink?
Yeah, I'll take a rain check. Thank you. Well, Miss Margaret?
I admire directness, Mr. O'Hara, even in a Texan. My address. Think you can find it?
I'll be there 8 o'clock.
8:30.
8:15. I'll see you then.
What you looking for?
Whales.
Whale. You see any?
Well, the Grays migrate south this time of year, headed for Mexico, and I thought I might get lucky and spot one. Did you meet Turner?
Just barely. How about Austin Bailey and Win Ethan?
Ethan's definitely okay. His tax returns are in perfect order. And get this, there is no audit pending.
Score one for Turner.
Now, I talked to the State Board of Accountancy about Austin Bailey. Several complaints have been lodged against him in the past, but nothing conclusive enough for the board to make a case. How do you make him?
Well, he comes on like Snow White. It gave me an idea, though. He mentioned property investments. We ought to check with the fictitious business file. See if he's an officer in any client corporation that invests in real estate.
That's next on the agenda. Now, if Turner is clean, we can't overlook the possibility that Bailey is involved in a shakedown racket.
There's another thing we can't overlook. That Bailey and Turner may be partners in the shakedown.
Well, if that's the case, then Turner has to be suspicious of his own shadow.
So I concentrate on Bailey. Did you get those papers I need?
Oh. Your credentials as a millionaire. There's a financial statement, bank and business references, the works. You've got a lot of reading to do. Now, is that about it?
That's about it.
Good. Let's look for whales.
There's no more to say.
Okay, so it ain't no big thing, all right?
What happened?
Buzz found a dude in the parking lot. Beat up, man, like bad, you know?
Was it Win Ethan?
The comic? Nah, some white dude. I ain't never seen him before.
Mr. O'Hara, I think I'd like to go home.
Why? What's the problem?
Well, the truth of the matter is that Win Ethan is a client of my boss's, but I don't really dig him. I'll just find a cab.
No, I'll drive you home.
No. You're a fan of his, and I know you want to see him, so go ahead. Don't think it hasn't been fun, cowboy.
Remember me?
The girls on stage are out there.
Yeah, I know. I just want to say hello to Mr. Ethan. You mind if I come in?
Who is it, Jesse?
A Texan. He's just leaving.
I'll go crash the party.
Hey, you.
Hold it, Jesse. Let's hear what the man has to say.
Yeah, my name's Jim O'Hara. I'm a big fan of yours.
I didn't know I had any fans in Texas. Or anywhere else, for that matter.
You'd be surprised. Hey, when's the next show?
I'm finished for tonight. Come back tomorrow.
How come so soon?
Yeah, because a couple of minutes ago, right out there in the parking lot, they nearly half killed a guy just because he gave me a job here. And I figure, Mr. O'Hara, you probably still got those brass knuckles in your pocket.
What are you talking about?
This so-called Texan lives right across the hall from a Mr. Turner. Shall I throw him out?
Either you throw him out or I'll throw both of you out.
Hey, hold it. Where I come from, if you want to get rid of an unwelcome guest, you just ask him to leave very quietly. I told you I was a long-time fan of yours. I might have been interested in making a show business investment. I'm bothering you. I apologize. I'll leave.
Come back, O'Hara. I changed my mind. Sit down, let's talk business. Well, this is all pretty impressive, but I still can't see how a big operator like you is interested in a guy like me. I mean, a washed-up comic in a third-rate club.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
And I thought I was a member of a minority group.
You're making a big mistake, Mr. Ethan.
Please, Jesse.
And please tell me what you want with a bodyguard if you're not going to listen to him. You don't know who this guy is.
Now, wait a minute, Jesse. You're my bodyguard, okay? Now, you're not my personal career advisor. Got that straight?
He could be anything. A hitman, don't you see? Look what happened on the parking lot tonight. All I'm saying is use your head, Mr. Ethan.
Please, Jesse, don't give me any lessons. See the kind of help you got?
You mind my asking why he was hanging around my apartment house?
Well, I was going to do some business with one of your neighbors. I had him go out there to check the guy out. You want to know the truth, it was a waste of time. You still want to be in show business, Mr. O'Hara?
I'm beginning to wonder.
As for my present surroundings, this just means that I'm no longer in favor with my former employers.
The bodyguard seems to think that's pretty serious.
Well, let's put it this way. I tried to buck the system, and tonight a guy nearly lost his life because of it. So I'm throwing in the towel. That is until I raise 30 grand. That says I'm sorry that I stepped out of line. Hey, you're a fan. Why don't you lend me 30,000 bucks? I mean, 30,000 bucks isn't much to a big-time oil man like you.
Well, I might just do that. Can we talk about it?
You kidding? Or are you serious?
No, I'm serious. It might even be tax deductible.
Hey, you know, I don't even know you, but you're beginning to raise my hopes. Hey, I got to run over to the hospital right away. Let me give you my address. Here, I'll see you there tomorrow night. We'll talk business.
I'll be there. Come on.
Thank you. They're beautiful.
I was worried about you. At least I could do is take care of the cab fare.
Oh, no, forget about the cab fare. Just do me a favor and don't mention to Mr. Bailey where you tried to take me last night.
Yeah, what?
He has sort of a thing about Win Ethan.
Yeah, what kind of a thing?
It's a long story. Now tell me, did your idol condescend to say hello to you?
Yeah, we had a long talk.
Oh, about what?
No, show business, a man's career, you know.
Well, I don't really want to hear about it. Just don't mention his name in this office. As a favor to me.
Say no more.
And right here is one of our most famous Hollywood directors.
Well, you two certainly seem to have hit it off pretty well last night.
The evening went like 5 minutes.
I always make it a habit never to take on a new client unless my secretary approves.
That's me, indispensable.
Well, what brings you here, sir? Business or pleasure?
I thought I'd drop by this financial statement for you.
Oh, good. Come in, won't you? Oh, Miss Malcolm, would you come in a moment, please? Oh, would you copy these off right away? Mr. O'Hara will want them before he leaves.
Yes, sir.
I wish you'd consider my suggestion of investing in real estate. The big opportunity is there.
Well, I'll think it over.
Good. After I've had a chance to study your financial statement, I'll get to work on a portfolio for you. Perhaps later on, you'll consider allowing us to represent your interests across the board for the usual 5%.
Now, let's wait and see.
Good. Caution. I like that.
You have my permission to start preparing the portfolio. If it's satisfactory, I'm prepared to execute an agreement.
Thank you, sir.
May I assume, then, that you have concluded your search for a West Coast investment counselor?
Yes, sir, you may. Think I found my man. It's me again.
I'll ask you one more time, Mr. O'Hara. Go away.
I've decided against it. May I come in?
Hi, Mr. O'Hara. Good to see you. Here you are, Jesse. Paid in full. With my last buck from the bank.
What's that?
2 weeks' pay plus severance. You're terminated.
What?
It's not working out.
I'm warning you, Mr. Ethan. If I leave now, I'm not coming back.
If you don't mind, Mr. O'Hara and I have things to talk about.
Things like selling out?
Get out, Jesse. Get out of my life. How do you like that? A while ago, he was in here begging for a job. Now he appoints himself my self-appointed conscience.
He's still upset about me?
Upset, inconsistent. One moment you're a muscle man from the mob, then you're a blue-eyed devil with $30,000 trying to lure me back into the big-time hell of show business. The kid can't make up his mind.
That's twice I've heard mention of the mob. Can you explain it?
Well, let's put it this way. My former employers were crooks. Or to put it another way, there are certain nightclub owners who have underworld connections. I told them off. I disavowed them. They became angry. I hurt their feelings. I'm scared stiff. Follow me?
Perfectly.
All right. I want back in the fold. And the price of readmission is $30,000. That's where you come in. I'm prepared to pay heavy interest on that money.
The only interest I'm concerned with is justice. Inspector James O'Hara, United States Treasury, IRS inspection. We want your cooperation. Would you like to talk about it?
You're really good, man. Really good. 24 hours ago, we never even met. And now I'm halfway to Leavenworth.
We know you plan to pay Bailey the money. At first, we thought that Bailey was a solo shakedown operation with a possible accomplice. And now it seems that Mr. Bailey is only the contact point in a possible shakedown operation that could be mob-controlled. Now, if that's the case, you're only one victim among many. Now, we want Mr. Bailey and the people that tell him what to do. We want them behind bars, not you.
But what about your own man, Stanley Turner?
Well, if Mr. Turner's involved, we want him to in the worst way.
I still can't believe it. You really came on like you really cared?
I care. We want to know how much it means to you.
You want to know what it means to me? Well, I'll tell you. It means a lifetime of working in flea bag joints for peanuts. And when they find out that I've been taking stupid pills, it means I'll be dead, Mr. O'Hara.
Very Dale Bailey. The whole operation could be exposed. You'd be back on top.
Well, you go right ahead and nail Bailey. But don't count on any help from me. Adios, Mr. O'Hara.
All we want you to do is exactly what you'd planned to do. Give Austin Bailey $30,000.
In marked money from the U.S. Treasury, in the presence of officers, right?
And you don't have to pay it back.
The answer is no.
What if you'd gotten the money from a Texas millionaire? What makes you think that next month they wouldn't want another $30,000? The month after that, another $30,000. You were a bad boy. You got out of line. You figure they're going to let you forget about it?
The way I figure it, if I refuse to pay anybody, my career is ruined. If I cooperate with you people, my career is ruined, and I'm dead. Because you're right, pal. Those people don't ever forget. Now, what was it we were talking about?
If you change your mind.
Advice for you, mister. Stay away from Win Ethan, or we'll see you again. You got that?
What happened? It's calling cards from your former employer.
Now do you believe me?
Yeah, I believed you all along. You ready to cooperate?
You won't give up, will you?
What do you say we both fight him?
You will, maybe. I can't.
Come on, man.
All right, I'll spell it out for you. What would I fight him back with, O'Hara? A gut full of jelly?
Good morning.
Well, you look a little stiff. How you feeling?
The doc has a wonderful sense of humor. Said I should learn to roll with the punch.
Well, it wouldn't be a bad idea. Meet Inspector Tom Cheney, your backup man. From now on, I want you covered.
O'Hara?
Where were you when I needed you?
I know from what the chief's been telling me, looks like your case is pretty much down the drain, isn't it?
Now's the time to bring up the reserves.
She called about 5 minutes ago. She wants to see you right away.
Oh, Poppy Grant?
Sounded upset. I told her you'd be over shortly. First, though, I wanted you to take a look at this. Some revelations from the fictitious business file. Your hunch was a good one. Bailey's name appears as an officer in 6 corporations. And check his associates. At least one well-known mobster in every corporate setup.
Including Jesse Florian.
Well, the way I see it, Ethan's been giving room and board to the mob's eyes and ears.
Well, I better head out and see what Poppy Grant might want to say. Maybe Ethan's had a change of heart.
Well, keep at it. In the meantime, I've got an appointment with the district attorney. If Bailey's been lying about the involvement of Stanley Turner, then no federal statute's been violated.
Yeah, but Bailey's shakedown of Ethan puts him in violation of a number of local statutes, including conspiracy to defraud, extortion.
Which means that the DA's men will have to be present if there's a bust.
You just missed him.
Who?
Ethan. He chickened out. He chickened out and ran. I hate him and I never want to see him again.
All right, cool down, lady.
I mean it. I don't ever want to see him again.
But why did he come here?
To borrow $30,000, and I had it and plenty more. Money he'd given me himself.
Did you give it to him?
I wouldn't give him 1 red cent. If he thinks I'm going to finance his return to that bunch of hoodlums, he's got another thing coming.
Did he tell you what happened last night?
Everything, including what happened to you. I was furious. I told him to cooperate or I'm going to spill the whole thing myself. And I called him stupid and gutless.
You think he might have gone home?
I don't know and I don't care.
Yeah, you care. You care a lot.
Okay. Maybe I'm dumber than he is. Find him and see if you can talk some sense into that thick, dumb skull of his. And if you get through, would you tell him I love him?
just talked with your ex-wife. She asked me to look you up.
You're wasting your time. I'd offer you a drink, but I can't afford it.
You've got a nice place here.
Yeah, the bank's foreclosing end of the month.
I'm sorry.
What difference does it make? Did Poppy tell you how she read me off?
She's quite a woman.
Went out there and asked her to lend me $30,000, and she told me to drop dead. Really surprised me. I thought if I got down on my knees and begged, she'd come across like a slot machine. But I guess she just forgot.
I hope you can remember how you played the part.
What are you talking about?
When you deliver that $30,000 in marked money to Austin Bailey, it's going to take an Academy Award performance or we're going to blow this whole thing.
I just retired, friend. And you're the first to know.
Well, if you're so enamored with that past of yours, why don't you try to make it your future?
Leave, O'Hara, before Jesse comes back and he throws you out.
I'll get you fired, Jesse.
I lied. After that beating you took last night, it shook me up. I hired him back. He's waiting for me over at Bailey's office. I sent him there before I went out to see Poppy.
What for, to make the payout?
As you know, there was a slight goof. I didn't get the loot.
Did you tell Jesse who I am?
Ain't I got enough trouble? Jesse thinks you're an oil-rich shark from the state of Texas. Who am I to tell him any different?
You want to know a little more about your favorite bodyguard?
What's to know? It's just a bag of muscles with a nagging conscience.
He's also an officer, along with Mr. Bailey in a dummy corporation. At least one of the other officers is a known criminal.
I don't believe that.
We checked the fictitious business file. Mr. Bailey is involved with some pretty heavy underworld characters.
I know about Mr. Bailey, but tell me more about Jesse.
I wish I could. All I can do is make an educated guess. Thanks to Jesse, your former employer knows every move you make, including when to beat up oil-rich sharks from Texas.
It's a little foggy, but it's beginning to clear up. Just keep talking.
You see, Jesse's job was to discourage anyone who wanted to make you a loan. They don't want the money back, at least not right now. $30,000, that doesn't mean anything to them. They're just gonna grind you down to size, mister, before they allow you back on the string.
That miserable, self-righteous fink. I give him a job, I treat him like a friend, I feed him, and all the while he's on the hotline back to the east. Wait till I get my hands on that muscled-up punk.
All right, when's he due back?
He isn't. I lied. We're supposed to meet at Bailey's office at 8 o'clock to make the payoff.
Well, we've got a lot of work to do before 8.
Welcome to the show, folks. Stop eating and pay attention to the jokes. How's that for level?
You're fine.
Hope I don't get nervous and start pulling on the mic.
The best thing to do is forget it. We'll be right next door. That radio mic has plenty of range. Just do your act, the boys will get it all on tape.
It's 3 minutes of 8.
Break your leg, pal.
Hi. I saw you light.
What are you doing here?
So I thought I'd see Mr. Bailey. Is he in?
No, I'm sorry. We're closed.
Yeah?
You'll have to leave. I told him to leave, but he wouldn't.
Oh, Mr. O'Hara, what brings you here?
Well, I'm a client, or I thought I was.
Of course you are. Thank you. That'll be all, Miss Malcolm.
Mr. Florian, this is a surprise.
I'll bet it is.
You know, when you asked me who gave me your name, it's Mr. Florian. It's a coincidence, isn't it?
Yes. Well, let's discuss it some other time, shall we? See, we have a meeting scheduled here, Mr. O'Hara.
This client of yours has been trying to take over a very valuable property. What are you going to do about it?
But I wouldn't worry about it. Last night, some very insistent people gave me some advice. They convinced me that Mr. Ethan is a bad risk, both artistically and financially.
You didn't lend him the money he wanted?
$30,000, no way, but I would like to talk about my investment program.
It'll have to wait. I don't mean to sound abrupt.
Hey! Look who's here. All my old buddies, including my deadbeat Texan.
Mr. O'Hara was just leaving.
No, let him stick around. I want him to see that he's not the only rich man in town.
I better be leaving.
Now, before you go, I want you to look at $30,000. And I didn't need you to get it up.
Hold it when?
Hold it nothing. You people think you've been dealing with a has-been. That's what you think. When Ethan has had it. Well, I tell you, you just give me 6 months, and I'll buy and sell all 3 of you.
Yes, I have to apologize for Mr. Ethan. Performers are often like children, unfortunately, particularly where money is concerned. Mr. Ethan here is a case in point. As you apparently already know, he's in somewhat of a financial jam, and I've made some high-level business arrangements to try and extricate him.
All I want to hear out of you, mister, is I'm out of trouble.
Mr. Ethan, please.
Please, nothing. There's $30,000, Mr. Investment Counselor. Now, where's my receipt?
I think we can trust Mr. Bailey, don't you?
You stick your nose in my business one more time, and I'll knock it clean off your face.
Why don't you try it, man?
That's enough, both of you. The matter will be taken care of, Mr. Ethan. There'll be no more trouble, I assure you.
There's $30,000 in there, mister. Feel it, and I want a receipt.
Your receipt is in knowing that your tax problem has been resolved. Oh, I know it's a bit irregular.
Irregular, man, it's weird. For all I know, you could be putting that dough in your pocket.
You know just as well as I do where that money goes. Now shut up and behave yourself.
It's none of my business, but it does seem a little irregular.
The rich get richer, huh?
You have got a tax problem. That money goes to a revenue agent, Mr. Stanley Turner. Now, if you don't believe me, check with Turner.
I fully intend to.
That would be the biggest mistake you ever made.
Mr. Bailey, we've got warrants.
Oh, what's the meaning of this?
The Deputy District Attorney, County of Los Angeles, and this is Mr. James O'Hara, U.S. Treasury.
I should have had him kill you last night.
Well, I'll forgive the oversight. You're under arrest for assaulting a federal officer.
You get one phone call, Jesse. Call your boss and leave a message for me. Tell him Win Ethan just flew the coop.
You're under arrest. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
I want you to know I was shaking in my boots all the time I was in there.
Good performance. I believed every word.
I want to thank both of you for your cooperation. And incidentally, congratulations.
Thank you.
This time I'm marrying a wealthy woman.
Oh, I don't know. I've decided to give the money all away, and we can start all over again.
Shh, don't even talk like that.
In case you're interested, Bailey's secretary confirmed the fact that Mr. Turner was not involved.
Oh, I'm very glad of that.
Miss Malcolm has agreed to turn state's evidence. Her testimony should help indict your former employers and take them out of circulation for a long time.
Well, we could care less. Poppy and I may even decide to open our own joint with her money, Nash.
Now, that's a deal.
And, of course, we'd expect you out front opening night, too, unless I'm in violation of bribing a federal officer.
I'll check the books.
This is Peter Graves. Join me tonight for Biography right here on A&E.
a good trip.
Well, it was a little bumpy over Wichita, wet over the mountains. I don't sleep too well on planes.
Jim, I believe you know Bill Clark.
Yeah, I know.
Good to see you again, Jim.
Mr. Land, I enjoyed the speech you made at the law enforcement convention.
It's my favorite subject. Have you had supper?
On the plane.
I'd like you to meet John Gossett, State Gaming Control Board, Special Agent Jim O'Hara. Well, gentlemen.
Yeah. What do we got?
Treasury Department. Harlan's Casino has been cheating the government for 3 years and is still doing it. The skimming takes place several times each year. I don't know what happens to the money after it is skimmed, but there's an awful lot of it, and it goes out of town. A friend. This was mailed to Washington 5 days ago. Postmarked Nugget and addressed to IRS Intelligence.
Someone knew the right place to send it.
And only a pro would call the concealing of cash income from gambling by that word, skimming.
Sounds like a crank letter from a poor loser.
Especially since the Gaming Control Board is very careful about who gets a gambling license in this state. Arthur Harlan, no known background of criminal connections, acquired the gaming concession of Harlan's Casino 3 years ago. He changed the name when he took charge.
Is there any make on the friendly letter writer?
Well, have a look. Notice the E's and the unusual face type.
The A's are only partially struck.
That was typed on a very inexpensive machine, like one you might buy for a youngster.
Do you think this letter was written by a youngster?
No. It was written by one of Harlan's employees. Mr. Gossett gave us a list of all of the people employed at Harlan's Casino. We called it for everyone who might be in a position to know about the skimming and who also have children. Brought us 3 names. Cashier, a pit boss, and a security guard. A little discreet moonlight search of trash barrels in Nugget eliminated the cashier and the security guard. There's the name and the address, and that's as far as we could take it without 2 new faces to work it cover.
And you're sure that's the lead?
This was found in his trash barrel.
Looks like the same typewriter.
I know you'll have to ad-lib, but remember, we're not dealing with Sunday school children.
Anything we can do from our end. We don't want any rotten apples in the barrel. If Harlan's guilty, we want him out.
We appreciate that, Mr. Gossett. Yeah, Leo Walsh, pit boss.
Hey, this is pretty good. What America Means to Me by Melissa Walsh.
Well, you're the lead agent, O'Hara. You call the moves. Clark will act as your backup. Now, if you need anything, you can contact me at the Highway Host Motel, where you'll be staying. You'll want to pay a visit to the pit boss. Cover cars outside, but don't unpack. Next stop, Nugget.
Walsh?
Leo Walsh.
IRS Intelligence. I'd like to talk to you, Mr. Walsh, about this.
You got the wrong house, mister.
Who is it, dear?
It's nothing.
May I? Come in, Mr. O'Hara. I wrote the letter.
She doesn't know anything. Only what I told her.
That's what's happened to him ever since he went to work at that place.
She worries my stomach's acting up, that's all.
You turned inside out because you can't live with it. Oh, Leo, why hide the truth? It'll work out. And everything will be just like it used to be.
How'd you find us?
Lunch ready? Hi, Melissa. Melissa, love, this is Mr. O'Hara. He and Daddy have some business to discuss.
Oh, that's okay. How you feeling, Daddy?
Fine, dear.
Hey, I'm starved.
Well, I got a nice, great big hamburger.
All right.
Please, Leo.
You married, Mr. O'Hara?
No. A wife and a daughter, they're kind of like an anchor in a man's life. Yeah. If anything would happen to them, you don't know Harlan. Maybe you do.
Why don't you tell me about it? And this.
If I had the guts, I would have quit. I would have just walked away. Lousy things a man does for a buck. I guess what I've been doing makes me an accessory or something, huh?
But if you feel what you're about to tell me is incriminating, you don't have to tell me.
I helped count the money.
Is that all?
Counting money is not a crime, but deliberately failing to report it as income is a crime. This letter refers to money being skimmed in the casino. A lot of money.
Well, if I were to swear in a court, I couldn't prove it. I've never seen what happens to the money after it's counted, but I know it's skim money. It must run to over $1 million.
Who else is in on the count besides you?
Harlan, and sometimes there's somebody else there besides myself. But he couldn't tell you any more than I have about where the money goes.
How do you suggest I go about finding out?
I don't think you could unless you worked there.
You arrange that?
I don't know.
You're one of the pit bosses.
You found that out, huh?
Words from you should carry a little weight.
You ever work as a croupier or a dealer?
No, but it shouldn't be too hard to learn.
I know a man who can teach you, but after that, you're strictly on your own.
Fair enough. What's the man's name's going to teach me how to be a dealer?
Ellery. Doc Ellery.
Okay, you call me Jim Martin.
Cost you $10 a lesson. No guarantee, except the truth. Which means, after look number 1, I'll know if you'll never make it. And I'll tell you so. Jim Martin. That's your real name?
Are you really a doctor?
You want to learn a deal 21.
I know the game.
You a winner, Martin?
No, that's why I want to work for the casino. I want to be on the winning side for a change.
Any other reasons?
Steady work?
You got a family to support?
No.
Sit down. Deal. You got good hands. What are you doing?
Just making sure everything's here it's supposed to be.
Very good. Deal them out. Marry one top card. Right. Known Walsh a long time?
For a while, he's a nice guy.
One of the nicest you'll find in this town, or any other. But he doesn't belong in this business.
Now what?
His ulcer.
Yeah, he chews those little pills all the time.
Reshuffle. And deal again. Players are going to slow you down counting. You're going to be amazed at how many people can't add. And you're going to have to do it for them. Be pleasant, no matter what. Anybody starts trouble, call the pit boss. It's his job, not yours, to deal with him. Now, you're going to run into all kinds of things. Some guys think the only way to win is to get the deck changed right away. Ask the pit boss. If he says no, it's no. Don't be surprised if some player goes out, eats an order of French fries, and comes back with greasy fingers and ruins all 4 decks. Don't get mad. Smile. Call the pit boss. Don't cheat. All right. Continue action.
being watched all the time. They got TV cameras in the ceiling. You get used to them after a while. They're checking on you and on the players. The dealer may try to cheat the house. It ain't too hard if you got good hands. You go into partners with a player or two, and fix it so they win. Then you split. Dealers have done it and gotten away with it for a while. Sooner or later, you get caught up with, and you don't work anymore. Nowhere. Martin, see me in my office. You're one of my better efforts, you know. You've got the image.
Thank you, Doc.
It'll be good for Leo Walsh to have you around. Look after him. Good luck. I have only one more thing to say. Your name better be Jim Martin. You better not have a criminal record. Otherwise, take the next plane out. Because the Gaming Control Board's going to know more about you than your own mother. Fingerprints don't lie.
Say, excuse me, maybe you can help me. This sightseeing trip looks kind of interesting, but I was wondering, do you know anything about it? Department of Justice cleared your fingerprints on your cover story.
So I can't help you. Try the travel desk in the hotel.
Thank you.
Hello, Jim. Doc Ellery says you're going to work out just fine. Hope he's right.
Don't worry about a thing, Mr. Walsh. Where do I start?
Upstairs, Mr. Harlan wants to look you over.
All back, Sam. No more back.
Jim? I'm Arthur Harlan. I think you've already met my friend Willie. Now, Willie, you shake hands with Mr. Martin. Easy, he's a dealer.
All right, Willie.
Good as you'll ever be, dealer.
Come on, Artie, let's go. You promised. Well, Leo, who's your friend?
This is Jim Martin. He's starting downstairs. Olga Miles.
Welcome to the club, Jim. Come on, I'll buy you a drink and you can tell me all your troubles.
Some other time, maybe.
A drink at his own time, honey.
Did Leo tell you the house rules yet? Oh, they're not very complicated, really. You just do what the boss says. Only you don't sit around forever waiting for him to tell you about it.
Willie, why don't you take Olga to a movie?
Oh, my pleasure.
I'll find my own entertainment and you get your hands off me. I'll see you around.
I better get back to the pit.
I'll send him down later.
Thank you.
Mind freshening my drink for me? What is it? Scotch rocks. Any questions?
Mr. Holland, you're looking at the gamblers. Finally got off the losing side. And plans to stay off.
Welcome aboard. Now get downstairs and get to work. Oh, and Jim, if you ever do have any questions, bring them to me, okay?
Mr. W? One of our best customers. Give him anything he wants.
Seven away.
Never seen you around here before, have I?
No.
You worked Reno?
No, sir.
Hey!
Keep it coming, honey.
Only paid 21.
3,000 more.
Paid 20.
You second carded me.
What?
You louser, you all right? Let me go.
Come here, Mr. W. This guy giving you some trouble?
You second carded me.
Oh, you bought yourself a one-way ticket, huh, dealer?
All right, folks, it's a little misunderstanding. The show's over.
So you got house conscious?
I'm sorry. I know how you feel, but I gave you a fair deal. Your luck just ran out, that's all. Okay, forget it. I'm sorry.
Just chalk it up to experience, Chief.
Okay.
Then you mean that's it? We're gonna forget about it?
Look, I run the action around here. When I want your advice, I'll ask for it.
Yes, sir, of course.
Mind if I play with you?
If it isn't against the house rules.
No. What are you doing later tonight, nice man?
I'll be right here.
Security guards collect the cash boxes at each table at regular intervals. How many tables are in operation during your shift? 421 tables, 2 crab tables, 2 roulette wheels.
That's a lot of cash boxes. How much do you figure is in each one?
I made $500 in a couple of hours at one table, and then $10,000 in less than 30 minutes at another. The only people that know how big the take is are the people that work in the counting room. Audit Division examined Harlan's corporate tax returns for the past 3 years. His monthly gaming reports show almost no change in the take from month to month. Now, does that make sense to you? No. Some months have got to be bigger than other months. The more people, the bigger the take. Not according to these, though. You know, a good time to skim would be the holidays coming up. The dealers have already been told they're going to work extra shifts. They're expecting a big crowd. Lincoln's and Washington's birthdays. Nice patriotic time of year to cheat the government.
We'll leave on 3.
How do you feel?
Fine, I'm fine.
back over there. Coming out. Coming out.
3. Craps, the loser. Field point. Pay the field.
Your pit boss has been gone for 2 hours, and he didn't go home.
Did you see, Doc Hillary?
I tried to follow him, but I ran into some strong-arm punk who gave me some very explicit directions.
Willie.
Where do you think you're going, dealer?
Well, I'm going in there if it's all right with you, Willie. Yes, Mr. Lane, Harlan's headed for the airport, private aircraft side. Can you get the hull number and see if he filed a flight plan? Yes, sir. Scotch and soda.
Mr. Land says we drew a blank on Harlan's destination.
No flight plan?
No. But he couldn't have gone too far. He's back already.
Only 4 hours. Draw a 600-mile circle.
Yeah. And pick a city. Any city.
Good morning. You alone?
Yes, sit down. May I get you, something, Miss Miles?
You could do me a favor. Try calling me Olga. Not my real name, of course. Nothing around here is real.
Salads and sandwiches only. Kitchen is closed until later. They're taking inventory.
Did somebody swipe the silver? This coffee, honey. Did you get the look? You're with the boss's girlfriend.
Does that bother her?
It'll bother Willie Smith. She's a friend of his.
Expect poison in the coffee or in the cream.
You don't belong here, Jim. You're real.
Now, don't tell Mr. Holland I like my job.
Wouldn't matter if I did. He stopped listening to me a long time ago. Oh, he keeps me around, but sooner or later he'll decide to redecorate. Trouble with little Olga is she won't play by the house rules.
All right. Hey, need a point.
Want to play?
No. This game is for gamblers.
Yeah. Well, I only bet on sure things. There. 3 of your ribs have been beaten in. Hey, where do you come off? Everybody in this place knows you've been fooling around with Olga.
I had a cup of coffee with her.
Yeah, I had to teach you a lesson.
Hard time.
What do you want, Jim?
I'd like to see Mr. Harlan.
You do, you're talking to me, dealer.
I'll take you upstairs.
All right, Jim, what's your problem? I want you to hear something from me before you
He's
hear...
been playing cozy with Olga.
Before someone twists it all out of shape.
As soon as we leave town, he hit...
Willie. Thanks, Leo. Go on.
I had coffee and conversation with Olga, that's all. I like my job here. I intend to keep it if I can. I have a certain amount of personal pride, and it may be a problem if we can't think of a way to keep Willie off my back.
Oh, no, I don't think that's going to be any problem at all.
Now, wait a minute. What is he coming
I
off
want
with?
you to run along now. I'll talk to Mr. Martin alone. Yeah, I think he's a little shook up. It's been a long time since he's run into somebody he couldn't intimidate. What did you talk about with Olga?
Mr. Harlan, I can't recall.
I keep forgetting like that. You're going to be around here a long time. Yes, sir, Jim, a long time.
Item. Harlan and his bodyguard take a private plane, probably with a bag full of skim. They're gone 4 hours. Where? We don't know.
He obviously flew VFR.
Item. We have the hull numbers of Harlan's private airplane, but so far we haven't been able to trace it to a touchdown to an airport within 300 miles of Nugget. Now, we know that Walsh participated in the money count with Harlan.
And probably Doc Ellery.
Somewhere in the casino.
End of items.
So, we missed out on Lincoln's birthday. Now, how do we celebrate Washington? Jim. You've got to get in on that money count. You've got to get into that counting room somehow.
That's a long shot, but maybe I can take Walsh's place. He's been very sick lately.
You think he'd recommend you to replace him?
And all you're going to have to do is con Harlan into letting you in on the count, and then find some way to mark the money.
If Walsh would cooperate, we could arrange to leak something from the shady side of your past. Harlan would be more inclined to involve you if he thought you had something to hide. Talk to Walsh.
Jim, even if you did get into that counting room, you know it's going to be awfully risky trying to mark that money. I mean, you can't use crayon. Maybe fluorescent powder could be the answer, huh?
Hang loose in the casino. I'll give you a nod when you can pass it to me.
And then you're going to have to find a way to dissolve it in water.
And when I get to use it... What happened?
Willie. Olga came by. I guess he must have followed her. And then when she left... Oh. Thank God I sent Rose and Melissa out of town.
Call a doctor?
Yeah, he'll be here in a little while.
How about the police?
You think I want to lose my job?
You think Harlan knows about this?
No, I think Willie's been freelancing. He's like something out of an old movie whenever anybody even talks to Olga. I don't think Harlan could care about it. Except maybe his pit boss is out of circulation for a few days.
Is there anything I can do?
No, thanks.
Leo, you want to tell me why Olga came here?
She said she was leaving for good. She wanted a loan, some traveling money, so I gave it to her.
You think Willie knows she wants to leave town?
He beat that out of me.
Where'd she go when she left here?
She said something about going to a friend's apartment for the night.
Friend?
Some showgirl named Diane Mallet. She's in the book.
You think Willie knows about it?
Willie knows about everybody.
Oh, he's crazy. He said he loved me, and when I tried to get away from him, he kept hitting me where he said it wouldn't show. Oh.
Operator, I need an ambulance in a hurry. 722 Fairview, apartment 402. Please hurry.
Oh. He kept hitting me, and he said I had to stay here. He said I couldn't go away.
Don't talk anymore. Now, suppose you tell me your story.
Stopped by to see Walsh. Said there was some trouble. He mentioned Willie and Olga.
So you hopped on your white horse and saved the lady in distress, huh?
I don't see it that way, sir.
Well, just exactly how do you see it?
I saved your man from doing something that would have hit the front pages of every newspaper in the country.
Did you have to be so rough about it? Willie's got a busted jaw.
Well, Willie wasn't exactly in the mood to listen to reason.
Did you ask Walsh to call me?
Yes, sir.
Why?
I think he told you why.
Well, with Willie out of circulation and Walsh not able to work for 4 or 5 days, you think you can handle it? Pit boss?
I'd like to give it a try.
There's a story going around I'd like to tell to you and see what you think. It concerns a guy that was working as a salesman for some company up in Spokane. It seems he was trustworthy enough to have access to the company funds. He dipped his hands into the company funds and gambled them all away. He lost. Heavy. Sound familiar to you?
Yes, sir.
Then what did you do, Jim?
Well, I gave up gambling on the losing side.
You know, I've always admired a man with a little bit of larceny in him. Particularly if he never tries it with me.
No chance, sir.
I suppose I should thank you for keeping my name out of the news. Don't worry about anybody pressing any charges against you. I've got attorneys that take care of things like that. Now get downstairs. It's going to be a big night. You're in the pit. Oh, and Jim, if you don't mind staying a bit late, I have another small matter I'll be wanting you for.
Yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir, right away.
Yeah, big pan, pay us, Bill.
Sit down, Jim. Well, Doc, where do you want to start?
Well, let's try this case.
Not bad, huh?
A lucky one.
There you go. Count them in stacks of 5,000. What are you looking for?
Something to wet my fingers with.
Right. Let me have a cup.
Yeah, sure.
Easy, Doc. Don't get greedy. Just take a little, leave a little, huh? Doc, as usual.
Pleasure, as usual. See you, my boy. You're certainly one of my better efforts.
Good job, Jim. That's for you. And so's this. You know how to use it, don't you?
Mind telling me why I'd have to?
We'd be a little foolish to be carrying a suitcase around like this without any protection now, wouldn't we? It's loaded. Now, come on, let's go. We got a plane to catch.
Playing it real careful. Private plane last time, now commercial airline. You're boarding flight 3.
Well, that's that. Thank you very much, Jim.
Anytime, Mr. Howard. You've never heard of the Independent Loan Company or anyone connected with it?
Never.
How about the Pacific Coast Self-Service Laundries?
Now, the loan company and the laundries, they were Harlan's money drops?
That's right, Mr. Wolf.
Now, I swear, and you gotta believe me, I never knew where he took the skins.
We believe you, but you're going to be asked to testify.
You're going to arrest Harlan
For income tax evasion, right?
That'll be one of the violations he'll be charged with. The federal grand jury indictment will be the first step. Then the arrest, and finally the trial, where you'll be a government witness.
You want me to tell all I know about the skimming operation?
For the past year and the year before that.
I don't see what good that'll do.
Well, your testimony will help establish the manner in which the crime was committed and the duration of the criminal acts.
All right. Just let me know when. I'm not going to back out now.
We couldn't have gotten this far without you, Leo.
We know the Game and Control Board will be grateful, too. Well, I guess that's a wrap-up, partner.
Yeah, we got a bit. All right, freeze, Willie. U.S. Treasury.